been at Google for the past 4 years. I'm a software engineer.
I see.
So, um, so we are excited to learn more about your experiences as a software engineer at Google. So, can you talk about a little bit your educational and career background? What are you doing right now?
Yeah, sure. A brief background. I studied computer science at Purdue University in Indiana, and then I moved to UVA for my master's degree. And then I moved to Bay Area to a company called IXL Learning as a software engineer. I stayed there for about a year and a half. And then afterwards, I moved to Google and I've been at Google for the past 4 years. It's a typical software engineering role, nothing is different.
Recording in progress.
Yes. So that's a
Okay.
nice background, actually. So, Ayhan, can you ask the other?
Yes, I'd like to continue. That is quite an interesting background, especially considering the fact that you studied computer science at Purdue University. Now, I'm quite interested to learn from you an example of a project you worked on at Google where you took a leadership role, or even if you didn't have an official leadership position, you were kind of a gray cardinal. You had to lead someone or group of people for the success of the project. Basically, you showing leadership qualities in a project. I'd like to know about it.
Yeah, Google is a bottom-up company, so we're actually expected to have leadership qualities, which means you drive your own projects forward and you get them done. Of course, that doesn't mean you're the only person working on them. You can still require assistance from your technical leader, from your manager, from your peers, etc. So most of my projects were done by myself. There's some bigger scale and smaller scale, but I was mostly a mid-level engineer, so I didn't really lead a large team to complete a project. But I worked on a few projects where I worked with junior engineers. For example, one included me writing the design documents, outlining the proposed solution, getting it reviewed and approved, and then assigning a junior engineer to it, guiding them through completion, and delivering it with them. Yeah.
Yeah,
I see.
Yeah, I
That's
actually.
certainly peculiar. It was definitely, I can assure that it was an experience. Thank you for your answer. Now, I would like my dear friend Ali to continue with the interview.
Yeah, so can you share some of the most challenging situations you have faced as a leader in your software engineering career? Was there really the technical issues or maybe lack of communication with others, or I don't know? As I saw your LinkedIn profile, you had a nice projects actually. What about them?
That's a good question. I mean, our job is pretty much just solving challenges, right? Whether it's
Yes.
technical difficulties or not, but it's always solving some sort of a challenge. We generally don't have a lot of communication issues. I think the process is pretty streamlined. Everyone is just trying to do their job, but there's always some sort of a technical challenge. Do you want me to go into a specific one?
Actually, not that much. Like, did you have faced like someone who doesn't want to cooperate or some teamwork issues like that? How did you overcome that?
Yeah, it always happens. I mean, imagine you propose something and it involves a different team and they're binary, and you want to make changes there, but they're not very responsive, right?
Yeah.
So that's a conflict you need to resolve. And in some cases, they're just very stubborn and they don't agree with your proposed solution. They don't want to implement your proposed solution, and you have to resolve that issue. Such things generally require escalation to managers. If you can't handle it with them, you just involve your managers, both sides, and they try to make a decision. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And one last question my friend will ask, Ayhan.
Yes, thank you. last question I would like to ask from you is, what do you believe are the qualities of a successful leader? What qualities are necessary, crucial for a leader to have? And are leaders born or made? Do you rather believe that being a leader is more of a nature or nurture?
I definitely think it's nurture. There's just a bit of a luck aspect to it. I think it depends how you grew up, how you were taught how to handle situations, and some people lack that, so they have to learn that down the road. But I think leadership is definitely something that's taught and learned, and not it's I don't think it's a nature thing. As far as the qualities go, that's a good question. I mean, it's pretty cliche, but all of the cliche ones are typical. I think one of the most important ones is not making any excuses, right? If you're a leader, you're responsible for everything, right? And you don't bring excuses like weather conditions. I don't know, life events. If you're a leader, you don't want to bring excuses ever. And besides that, obviously, you have to be charming. You have to lead the team. You have to possess some qualities so that they follow you. So it's a bit cliche, but you don't want to be a boss, right? You want to be a leader.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fair
that's
enough.
pretty much what I would say.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, makes sense.